Wave, and welcome back to another end of year channel update style video. I figure as we're coming into the new year, I would go ahead and do another one of these, so this is probably going to be a bit of a tradition on the channel. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. First off, I just want to say thank you to all of those of you that tuned in to the channel throughout this past year. I'm honestly quite surprised that I was able to actually go ahead and continue to upload content throughout a full year. A lot of the time I was trying to kind of upload every 2 to 3 weeks maximum, and sometimes I would be able to get within that less than a week range, but I think just in general I was trying to kind of keep up and make it to where I wasn't gonna fall behind and feel okay, well, if I don't upload for a month or two, maybe at some point then I'll just completely fall off the grid. So I am quite surprised that I was able to continuously keep pumping out content throughout this past year. Like I said, thank you to all of those of you that tuned in even just for a singular video. What do I want to do on the channel going forward? So I want to continue with the content that I have been doing, but I feel as I found a certain, I guess maybe routine or something for how to go about and make my reviews and the general just topic discussion videos. I'm trying to think of how to maybe make gameplay VN stuff work on the channel. Kind of been having some ideas. I don't think it's necessarily challenge video of oh, I beat this game with this type of restriction. I don't know. I feel I kind of can't really do too much of that. Maybe I can figure out something with that, but at least one idea that I have is I've actually been getting back onto Heaven Burns Red, and when I catch up or when I get closer to the end of where we're caught up as, because I know they're dropping another chapter in 2 or 3 weeks from now from when I'm recording this, I've been able to push forward a little bit more in Heaven Burns Red. I think my account is at that point where I can continue pushing forward through story. I'm considering maybe trying to do some a type of review that maybe is a little bit more in depth, where I go into covering gameplay mechanics and maybe making it as a sort of beginner's guide type of thing, while at the same time being a review. And then maybe I can go ahead and go a little bit deeper into just describing a whole number of different things outside of actual story, and digging into okay, what is the conversion rate between the premium currency and how much you need to pull and stuff like that too, where I think maybe I want to try and do a little bit of a detailed review that mixes in maybe some recordings of me doing boss fights or something, just so that way people can get an idea. I don't know. That's something I think I'm going to try and challenge myself on this upcoming year, is trying to make gameplay VN videos that can work and be entertaining for people to watch. So another thing I've been reading, well, I read it a little bit back. I put it on pause just because I kind of just wanted to get into the gameplay and see what it was like. And once I dedicate some time to it, then I'll go ahead and maybe do another gameplay / review style video for a VN that's translated, being Aselia the Eternal, I'm pretty sure it's what it's called, which is just another gameplay VN that I know is apparently quite complex. And I think a lot, when I looked into it, a lot of people seem to have dropped that game because of how brutal it is. I'm surprised that when I bought it off of Jast, they actually ended up just giving you a PDF file for a walkthrough of the game, which I think is pretty cool, rather than having to look it up. But I know that game is apparently quite easy to soft lock in because of how limited your experience is. And I did up to, I think for people that have played it, I've only gone up to chapter 3 and fought the boss on that, because I noticed, in the walkthrough, literally by chapter 3, which is a couple hours into the game, they're already saying, make sure to level up this unit and this unit, because otherwise you're probably not going to be able to actually complete the level. Which, I don't know, so far, the little bit of Aselia the Eternal that I played, it feels almost like this puzzle thing rather than an actual JRPG mechanic thing. I hope builds kind of open up as I get further into the game, but it's an auto battle thing. Most of your strategy is on the world map as you're hovering over the enemy, seeing what moves you're gonna equip. And I don't know, it's interesting. It almost feels like this kind of Fire Emblem-esque, Fire Emblem Light kind of game. So I don't know, that's two examples of maybe some gameplay VN stuff that I'm keeping in the back of my mind as to how I can maybe make content on it. in the future. Let me maybe get away from content stuff, because maybe, I mean, I imagine the people that are clicking on this maybe clicked on it because of the fact that you know that this is like a channel update kind of style video. But let's just talk about general like ramblings of VN stuff in general. I think this past year I ended up reading a lot of like untranslated VNs. I feel like I tried to kind of keep a balance now that I'm doing content, so I'm like trying to balance it out. I don't want to be like leaning too heavily to one side over the other. But then again, like I had a lot of fun just reading really like old VNs that maybe some people haven't even ever really even heard of, like in the example of Clear. Looking forward, what's some VNs that I'm hoping to read that I think would be pretty cool? A lot of VNs that like I wish I could maybe read that are untranslated. Like I think I've kind of mentioned in some videos already. It's like something like Triptych. I know I want to read more like Neko Neko Soft stuff. Luckily, there is a new Neko Neko Soft game coming out, probably in this coming year. That's going to be dropping on Steam, which is nice. I noticed another one of the releases is on Steam, so I could play both of those. Some of the other stuff I would like to play from them, like Sora Eero or Laminate 2, are kind of, you know, harder to get a hold of. So that's something I'll have to kind of do my own research into. But as far as like another untranslated VN that I think might be kind of cool is titled by the name of Tasogare no Sinsamilla. I'm pretty sure. It's not something that I think is as like heavily praised as something like that I saw with Aster. I think Tasogare no Sinsamilla is gonna be kind of like an okay-ish VN, but I think it interests me a decent bit just because of, you know, I like Monobeno, and I liked a certain route in the PS2 version of Clear, so I'm like very much like a fan of that like rural town village that you could maybe get out of something like Higurashi as well. You got like Shrine Maiden stuff, and I don't know, I think it looks interesting enough. Another one that I think I hopefully can get around to, maybe as long as I'm not buying more and more VNs, is a while back, I think it was during the Steam summer sale, I bought what's it called? It was like Kimi no Hitomi ne Hit Me, which as far as I'm aware is kind of just like a okay-ish, another like okay-ish non-translative VN, but you know, that's on Steam, and it was something that was kind of like on my radar for a couple years, I think, actually now. And when I realized, oh wait, this is actually on Steam, went ahead and just bought it when it was on sale. And I think that game is like centered around just kind of like the general like club vibe, and I don't know. As far as like translated stuff, hopefully, well, at the point that I'm recording right now, I'm finishing up with Doko Iku. I think once I finish it, hopefully I'll have a video on it to drop at the same time as when this video drops. I don't really know how the time frame is going to work on that, so hopefully you guys will see that video is out at the same time as this one. But I think after that I'll probably go ahead and dive finally into Fate Stay Night again and finish it up, because I had finished Saber Route however long ago and just like stopped because I was like, okay, well, whatever. It was probably because it was separate applications rather than being all one like full game, kind of like how I treat Higurashi in a way, to where, you know, I could finish one and then be like, okay, well, technically that's like a VN complete, so I'll come back to it later. So hopefully I'll be on Fate Stay Night maybe by the time you guys are listening to this video, and I'm probably gonna read Rewrite Plus. I gotta figure out if I'm gonna actually read the official translation, or I know there was like a fan patch that actually came out this past year, so I don't know. Rewrite was one of those like games that apparently was very, very like buggy and just like poorly optimized and stuff when it came out originally. It took me a while until I actually bought it, and even now it's taking me even longer until I actually read it. Probably gonna read Rewrite this year. And then I don't know, as far as like new stuff, I have to imagine, even though that they're working on Draku Riot, we're probably gonna get Lemonade Jam translated in this upcoming year. I have to imagine so. I'm surprised by the amount of people that like just frame one went ahead and started playing Lemonade Jam. And I'm like, dang, okay, well, there actually is so many people that know how to read Japanese, and immediately we're like, yes, I want to go ahead and read the newest Yuzu soft title. As far as like other stuff, I feel like it's honestly anyone's guess. I feel like no one would have predicted Sakura no Uta being like announced for translation this past year, just because I feel like there's so many titles that like are really like highly acclaimed, and they just kind of don't ever go anywhere. I'm surprised. Stuff like White Album 2. I'm pretty sure there's so many people that say that they would want White Album 2, but I guess because of the fact that it has a fan translation, maybe studios are like less motivated to actually go ahead and, actually translate it because they feel like everyone's getting it for free anyways. As far as like other stuff that, like I said last year, I remember saying I wish we could get something like Astral Air, or I don't know. I could cope that with the Weiss Schwartz releases for like all the VN cards that are coming out this coming year. That with Alcana, maybe we get something Alcana related finally. I would hope. I could cope. Another thing that I have been coping off of is the thought that because there is like a brand new company that has been built around the fact after Lose went out of, or not went out of business, but like shut down, that maybe we can get like an updated like remake / remaster of Gothic Delusion to drop on Steam, because that's another title where it's like, okay, well, kind of nice to have all 3 Lose titles all available on Steam. So that's something I can kind of cope off of. But I really don't know what else could probably drop this coming year. I genuinely don't think there's going to be like anything new from Key as far as like English releases this upcoming year. I feel like the only thing people are going to have is Heaven Burns Red. So maybe it is a good thing that I actually am getting back into Heaven Burns Red and kind of getting back into that swing of like enjoying the story content, but at the same time maybe suffering a little bit with the combat. I really don't know what else could even be dropping this coming year as far as like translated stuff. But yeah, that's just a little bit of ramblings for me. Like I said, I thank you again for all the people that have tuned in to my channel this past year, and hopefully I'll be able to continue and keep up with uploading even more content going into the brand new year. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Wave, and I will see you next time.